What's up, everybody? We're getting ready to go live. Getting the blog talk going.
Scheduled to start in 23 seconds.
And as usual, we're going to do some sharing on Facebook. Everybody knows it takes me a few minutes to get started.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds.
We're all right.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's up, everybody on Blog Talk Radio? This is Coach. What's up, everybody on Blog Talk Radio? This is your Coach Renz. We are about getting ready to get started. We're doing some sharing on Facebook. Good. What's up, everybody on YouTube? How you doing? Facebook. What's going on? This is your Coach Renz. As always, we are always talking about spirituality, talking about finances, making our lives better, reaching that attainment of alchemy of heaven, of the heaven of the mind, the state of being on earth in heaven, not waiting for some pie in the sky, but to get it now, to move your mind to the higher level. Peace up. What's up, Shondell? How everybody doing? You know, we're doing our Facebook sharing right now as we start the show as normal. I got two young men with me. We're going to talk about them growing up in the spiritual world and how they deal with, you know, just life in general and how holidays and family, things like that, because we know as adults, we deal with these things a little bit differently. But, you know, kids, they have it it's not as easy sometimes it is. But we're going to get two young men's perspective on this as we get ourselves together here. Make sure you guys are doing some sharing. If you decide to super chat on YouTube, we greatly appreciate that. As you know, all that is going towards the building of the Temple of Wisdom. So I appreciate you guys. Look forward to us building that together as we begin to bridge that gap. You know, that mental gap of freeing people from the enslavement of thinking that life is hell and that they're going to hell and that they gotta, you know, do all these crazy things instead of just looking inside themselves and realizing, you know, the God is inside. As we move forward in these things, we're going to talk about that. But for the first part tonight, I'm not going to keep the young guys here all night because you know how we go in. I'm not going to keep the young guys here all night. We're going to talk to them for a little bit about their journey of growing up in this time frame. You know, when I grew up, you didn't have much of a choice. You was going to believe and do what most everybody in society was doing in your area. But we're going to talk to them about how, you know, they've had a freedom to study and to learn. They have freedom to grow, so grow in their own way. Yeah, so I'm doing my stalling techniques right now. But as I do my stalling techniques and in that process, in my stalling techniques, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to introduce these young men, and I'm going to let them say their greetings and tell you a little bit about themselves. All right? So we're going to start with the oldest of these two young men. This is Io. So Io, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about who you are, young man, as I can finish the sharing.
Okay. Howdy. My name is Io. Nice to meet you. I'm 18 and I'm very artistic. I love to draw, bead, make stuff, and I love to play video games.
Ooh.
And young man?
Yeah, I'm Issa. I'm his younger brother. I'm 16. Love video games. I love to fish.
Wait, he just had a birthday yesterday, so I want everybody to give him a shout out of a happy birthday. Go ahead.
And Happy New Year's to all you guys out there. Yeah.
So you like to fish? Continue.
Like video games. Sometimes I am very lazy. Very. Like
Sometimes.
most of the time. And that's about it.
Okay, all right. Now you guys may see me coming, moving forward and backwards because in order to get everybody into the Facebook shot, we had to sit pretty far away. So if I have to come forward because I missed a question up there, then that's the reason why we're coming forward. So how you doing, everybody on Facebook, everybody on YouTube, Blog Talk Radio. So these two young men, they grew up a little bit differently than I did. You know, guys, as you guys know, I grew up in a predominantly Christian background. You didn't have a choice. You had to go to church. You had to learn what everybody learned. But I want you guys to take a few minutes and tell me about your spiritual upbringing and where you are now. So let's take everybody on that journey. Go ahead, Aya.
Okay. So when I started like actually doing stuff religiously and spiritually, I was growing up with my grandparents, me and Papa, and they took me to church, African Methodist, every Sunday. Every Sunday. It was fun. Like, I never saw church as like a religious thing. I just saw, like, I grew up in the church. I was one of the oldest kids at the time, so I grew up with a bunch of other kids. So I just saw this place where all my friends were. I just kind of saw it like school. One thing that they kind of like messed with me a little bit later is like I kept wondering what was God, or like who was he. I started having all these questions and stuff like at around 12 or 13. I was like, you know, everyone's praying. I'm always opening my eyes, just looking around at people and stuff. Like, I would read what they read. When they told me to do stuff, I did it. I read stuff, preached a little bit, but I never felt it or anything.
Right. So you never felt it.
Yes, I was just going with what they told me. I never felt anything about it. So that was really it.
So where are you now as far as, even though we don't really like labels, if you had to give yourself kind of a label, you have to describe your spirituality, how would you describe it?
Okay. In, like, from outside looking in, I would have to say it's more like kind of like a deist. But from the inside looking out, I'd have to say it's what I call a freeist.
Okay, so what's a deist?
Deist is someone that believes in, not God specifically, they believe in a higher power, but they just don't know what it is. So it's like just avoiding the question.
So as far as the pathways to get to your understanding of the Creator, is there one pathway, multiple pathways?
Honestly, I believe there are multiple pathways. Like, you can, like, for me, I believe in the All-Maker. Something, it's a deity that made everything. All other religions, all other deities, everything. It made everything. It's completely omnipotent. I was playing Skyrim, doing, just being crazy in Skyrim, and when one of the priestess in the game called out, he said, "God bless the All-Maker," or "the All-Maker save us." And right then and there, a light, like a God ray, shone into my room, and I was like, this is it. This is it.
So through a video game, you discover the All-Maker.
Yes.
All right, that's cool, that's cool. So tell us, we're going to come back to you. Tell us about your Issa, 16 years old. What's your religious journey, and then where would you place yourself?
Usually every summer, I would go visit Umi and Papa. They'll take us to church every Sunday. My journey wasn't really like that because I would sleep in church. I would actually never pay attention. I would sleep constantly because I do not like being waken up very early in the mornings.
All right.
And so they'd be like, "Oh, you gotta go to Bible study or like Sunday school." I still wouldn't pay attention to that.
All right.
So, but besides that, that's pretty much all there is to that point in time. What?
Put your hand down. Go ahead and talk though. Don't be afraid. You're all right. You're safe.
I know I'm safe.
They can't hurt you.
Oh my god. But they ask questions like, "What do you think God is?" and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I just believe that if I had a specific idea on who the God would be, I would say a female, to be honest.
Okay.
Because it's unrealistic.
There's a lot of people out there who agree with you on that.
I just think it's unrealistic to like picture a male figure to be a God.
Right.
They don't create life technically. If we speak in scientifically, females create life. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that a female's a God instead of.
What about the fact that it takes both the male and the female?
Oh, yeah, that's another theory. That's another thing I'm thinking
So could
about.
God
It could be like two people.
Or could it be just one that's androgynous, asexual?
That would be
Have both male and female.
that'd be funny to see Christians' faces when they see that. they hating on transgenders and stuff, and they see God's transgender. That'd be funny.
So
I'm just trying to imagine that.
Well, transgender is more they like change, but like asexual that they originally have both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both of you guys grew up, spent a lot of time with your grandparents. Your grandparents taught you, took you to church, took you to Christianity, which is a thing that's not uncommon. Now, that's your grandparents. What about your parents?
Well, mom was like We just helped her with stuff. It wasn't really more a religious thing. It was more just us helping around, like at the house and stuff, if anything. But my dad,
Like cleaning a car?
no, yeah, chores. It was more. That's how I saw it at least. I saw it as like more chores than.
We saw what as chores, or like what's the religious, spiritual thing that you was doing that you saw as chores?
Like cleaning. What was it?
Clean ephod.
Yeah, cleaning ephod.
Your specific ephod.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so
it was
what is
more-
ephod?
We've never known. We just gone. I've gone with the flow.
So you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I just been going with the flow.
All right. So what is
So-
ephod?
I'll be completely honest. I've been
I
I've
want
been
you to
part of
be
it for
completely
years. I'll give you my very vague and broad understanding. Ephod kind of works like so. There are these gods that have created the world and everything, and those are called Orisha.
Uh-huh.
You worship the Orisha, but on top of that, you also worship your ancestors. So you feed the Orisha with, palm oil, gin, other stuff. Expensive. And you treat them just like family. But you make sure to feed them and to treat them right. Because just like a pet, they will bite you if you attack them.
So, okay. But
Sorry.
do you worship or do you edify? Do you know the difference between the two?
I don't know the definition of the word edify.
Do you bow down and like live in fear, or do you give them respect?
Give them respect.
I would have to say you give them more respect, but at the same time, okay, the best example I could give would be like being in the room with an animal. At the same, like you give that animal its space and you respect it, but at the same, you slightly fear it in the back of your head. But then again, it's like that with every religion. Like I think, like Christianity, you never do something against the will of God because you never know that you get that one lightning bolt one day at your house. Just God.
Okay.
You get a little scared sometimes. So I'd say it's like more respect, but there's always that little small in the back of your head.
So then, okay, so that's your mom. What about your father? And we're gonna come back to all of this stuff again. What about your dad? So we're establishing a baseline here so that people can understand like how you guys' upbringing has been.
Me and my dad, we talk about religion, but we don't really follow a religion. We talk about other religions and stuff, but we don't actually follow religion. He doesn't. Even if he were to have a religion, he wouldn't force it upon me, or he'd be like, "You want to join me in this?" Sure.
So what kind of religion y'all talk about? Y'all talk about like
we talk about
Christianity.
We talk about mostly Christianity.
Okay.
We do talk about like Muslims, Jews every once in a while, but like it's not frequent.
Right. So your dad doesn't really force anything on you. Y'all just had general conversation.
Yeah, but it's not just religion. We talk about all types of stuff like politics. We talk about generation. We talk about music, art, right, all types of stuff.
That's good. But we talking about spirituality.
Yeah.
So, and as far as what about you?
Me and my dad actually don't talk about religion at all. Like, we'll make jokes about it. Like, we'll make jokes about Christianity and ephod. That would be really it. He's never forced anything on me. I actually don't know what he believes in. I know we go to church, and I believe he believes in their teaching, but not religiously. Like, he doesn't follow them religiously. But like when he goes to church and stuff, like, oh yeah, that was a good sermon today, or like this was a good lesson behind it. But besides making fun of certain religions or like certain little things that have happened in the past, we won't talk about it at all.
Okay, so so you guys have grown up in a free environment, opportunity to kind of like, you've had some influences from your grandparents, had some influence from your mom, influences from your dad, but really you've been able to freely develop in your own way based on what they've been giving you. Would that be fair?
Mm-hmm. More experimental.
So now, your friends, when you go to school, your friends are mostly what?
Christian.
I don't know them on that level.
You don't?
I assume most of them are Christian.
Okay. So have you ever experienced, what have you experienced as far as dealing with your friends when it comes to things like it's Easter, it's Christmas, things like that. It's Sunday and going to church and that sort of thing. Like, how has that affected you?
Well, when it comes to friends, I would say I don't really talk about religion when it comes to friends. We talk about teenager stuff, like video games, what's new out on the movies, girls.
Okay.
We don't really, well, but if we do, like it's holiday time, like breaks coming, we say like, oh, I can't wait for Christmas, because we pretty much all know that it's funny, something like Santa and stuff.
Right.
So we're like, oh, can't wait, I've been trying to get this new phone, trying to do all this. When it comes to Easter, they really don't ask anything, but like Thanksgiving, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're like, can't wait Thanksgiving, I'm gonna get fat. I'm gonna get fat. How about you? I'm like, I'm gonna get fat, I guess.
So Easter, do they like invite you guys over to church and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you guys say?
I was like, sure, because it's more of a respect thing towards like having friends and stuff. Cause like, let's say if they invited you to like dinner or something,
Mm-hmm.
and you said, oh no, it's not good. I have something planned. They're gonna see it as, oh, you don't want to hang out with them or anything. So it's more of like, oh, sure. To deepen our relationship as friends, we'll go to church. We won't believe in any of it, but we'll respect it.
And have you guys ever invited your friends to?
No. I don't invite my friends to nothing.
To nothing?
Not anything.
Why?
Because I don't want them saying, oh, you don't believe in Christianity or this, that. It's not worth the drama.
For me, it's actually been the opposite. Like, I've never been invited to do anything for, like, any of the holidays. I've never been asked to go hang out with my friends. I actually just recently got invited to my first ever Christmas party.
Uh-huh.
And that was pretty cool. I mean, we gave gifts, but, like, no one really asked me about my religion, or when they do, I'll tell them about what I believe, and they'll tell them what I used to believe. And, like, for you, they'll be like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that blah, blah, blah did that. Or, that's cool. What is it called again? And they'll, like, try to look it up and stuff. But, other than that, no one really seems to care.
So it's fair to say that for you guys in your generation, more people are open. Well, for you, you find your friends to be open and not judgmental. But for you, you have a fear.
Yeah.
That they will judge you based on your religion.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, I don't care, but like, it's like, I work too hard to get where I am socially to let it all go down the journey.
Okay. So you feel like if you don't fit in or be respectful to them, but respectful to them where you shut your stuff down, that you might lose them as friends?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, religiously, they're all weird and judgmental, but they're all good people that I respect.
But do you think that's fair?
No. But I'm not really saying, like, I don't mind it not being fair, because it's cool with me. I've been cool with it. I mean, judgmentally, I've been upset with elementary school just because everyone kept asking questions. But that's about it. Like, they're like, oh, you're not a Christian, you're going to hell. Oh, you're, and stuff like that. I'm like, oh,
that gets annoying quickly.
So you guys do get that you're going to hell because you're not Christian.
I got that from a girlfriend, from an ex. So, like, when we were dating, I told her what I believed in, and she said, oh, you should go to church. I was like, yeah, I do go to church during the summers with my grandparents. I'll go to church. I have no problem going to church. When I go there and that person throws himself on the ground and gets the Holy Ghost or something, so totally different.
Okay.
I'll go to church. It doesn't matter. I don't believe in the teachings.
Let me check a couple of comments on YouTube real quick. Respect is simply acknowledgement. I grew up thinking respect was fear. Keep these young Padawans close, coach. All right. So let's discuss this for a second. So you guys are still experiencing this world where it's similar to how I grew up, where people really judge you quickly simply because of your religion. And for you, you don't want to say anything because you don't want to mess up your friendships. You lost a girlfriend over it, over someone not being accepting or willing to accept the fact that you weren't Christian.
Yeah.
Right. So we know, so that's still alive and well. of in the youth, in that young category, that people are still being judgmental towards you and casting you aside, not because of your personality, because of religion.
Yeah.
So you're still experiencing that. All right. So what about anything from your teachers or other adults that you encounter that they like? Any of them have displayed judgmental attitudes towards you?
Well, first and foremost, I don't even talk to my teachers on a decent basis. We say, "Hey, how you doing?" We talk during class, then we go about our business. That's just how a teacher relationship is.
Professional.
It is. Yeah.
So you don't have any overbearing teachers in there. They're not trying to pray and make you pray to Jesus.
No. Oh, I had this one middle school teacher though. We were having a discussion about, like, I forgot the name of the religion. I don't know what it was at the time, but it was about like this holy temple, right? And there was these, like, it was made out of almost solely gold.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, even though like there was like a bridge and then there's lamps and they were gold as well. I'm like, well, if a thief really wanted to, he could just come along and just chip off a piece of that and been okay with life.
Right.
And no one would ever say anything because he wasn't like that close up. And I'm like, And I asked him, what's stopping someone from like just going up there and just chipping a piece of gold off? He said it was a holy place. I said, to them, not other people, be a random person on the street, just like, I don't know what religion that is, but they got a lot of gold. I hope they don't mind I sharing, taking a piece.
So what did you feel when they said that it was a holy place? Now that's the thing. They still felt that it was a holy place. You feel like it wasn't a holy place, right?
Yeah.
So, but when things are holy to you,
Yeah.
as you develop into your spirituality, and certain things become holy to you, do you feel that you have to still shadow down, keep your stuff kind of like low level, so that and allow them to just say what they want to say, and you not be able to express your thoughts?
I say it's depending on what they say, because if it's something I don't like, then it's a totally different story. But if it's something I can live with, I just stay low, keep it cool, so I'm not causing problems for anyone. Or no one's causing problems for me.
Yeah, what about you?
For me,
You meet this next girl. Are you gonna say, are you Christian? Oh, you are? Next. What are you? Or are you going to say, you know what? I really want to have a girlfriend. She's cute. I'm gonna just keep it to myself and fake it fun.
I'd probably honestly go with that last one. Probably go with that last one. I mean, for me, religion.
So you're gonna fake the funk?
I'll tell her open. Like, okay, my way of seeing things are like this. There's never one side to every story. So, I've dated a girl who was an atheist, and like, I would sit there and tell her about my religion, and she would tell me about hers and what she specifically believes. And then we talked to our Christian friend. We were all together. We didn't hate each other based on our different religions or different aspects based on the religion and stuff. We were all cool, but like we hated when we go to that one friend or our one teacher and tell them that, they would just look at us like this, like, I'll still pray for you. And like that's a sweet sentiment, but on the inside, like some of our friends are like, yeah, don't.
But so you're gonna keep it quiet and fake the funk though?
Look,
Because this doesn't change as you get older. You're 18. Almost time to start adulting.
no religion would bother me as long as you're like, as long as you're physically not doing anything to me. Fine. It's whatever. You can believe what you want to believe. You may be overbearing towards me.
What?
But I will stand firm in my belief. I'll go with you to church. Yeah, I'll pray. But
Okay.
my thing is my thing.
So
You don't have to change it.
here's the thing that will be coming up for you hopefully sooner than it comes for you. You shouldn't come up for you anytime soon. And even for you, let's give it like 10 years before this comes up.
Marriage?
Marriage and children. It's a real thing. In the next few years, those will be real situations for you. In the next like 5-6 years, in the next 10 years, those will be real situations for you.
I don't like that to be a discussion between me and my wife, person, whatever.
So you don't see that if she's Christian and you're not.
Okay, it depends on what.
And then there's children.
There are
How are the children going to be raised?
There are classifications of Christian. So there's that smooth Christians, like, oh, you believe in this? Okay, we can talk about that with our kids. Then there's that Bible thumper. The reason we made it safely into the house was because of the Lord. Hallelujah! Like, it's just so, like, those would be discussions. It's situational. I would prefer to get the cool person, and we could talk about it. Like, I'll play it like my dad. Honestly, I would tell them like what I believe, and if they felt interested in it, I would let them, like, dark side or like Star Wars, good side of the Force, the dark side of the Force. Let them choose. Give them both options, and whatever side they come to choose, or if they choose not to go to any side, it doesn't change anything for me. I'll still love them all the same.
So so basically, you're open to anybody of any religion, but you aren't willing to put yourself in the shadows for them. Put your spiritual beliefs in the shadows for them.
Yeah, like as an example, if one religion were giving better benefits, I guess, or there's a lot more stuff that I could see happening than in my religion, I'll let my other person take the lead. But I feel like if I'm around my kids a lot, they would gain something from that. Like, I don't care if you adopt my religion. I would just care more that you adopt my teachings of the religion. Because, like, we all want them to be morally good instead of, walking around kicking little babies or kicking little animals and stuff.
Right. So, speaking of doing morally good and morals, many people will say that if you're not Christian, then you don't have morals. They will also say things like, you're sinning. So, what
they weren't supposed to judge.
What are sins? Well, it says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged, for by the same measure you judge others, you shall be judged yourself." That's a layman's term way of explaining that. I'm quoting that, not the exact words, but they're still going to judge. And
of course.
So, what would classify as a sin for you guys? Like, in the biblical text, a woman preaching is actually a sin. Leading a church, yeah. If someone went with the Old Testament, and I'm freaking out for a second here, a woman on her monthly womanhood, her menses, her period, yes. If you sat on the same bed as her, you're now unclean, and that's a sin.
It's because you're tainted by blood.
Right?
I mean, the Old Testament is full of just
the Old Testament
broken, unfair rules. So I wouldn't really count that as any type. It should be a sin in itself, just for.
Okay, but the Old Testament was either you're this, you're either white or you're black. It's no gray area. There's no between. It's either you're one or the other. You're either perfect, going to heaven, or you flipped off one old lady. You're going straight down, burn with the rest of them.
Right.
I would.
But in the New Testament, if you don't confess that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, you're going to hell. Now, the mass murderer guy or woman can confess Jesus as their Lord and Savior after they did all their good murdering, and they get to go to heaven. But you didn't mass murder anybody. You have had a great life, being a great father and all that sort of thing. But according to Christianity, y'all going to hell.
But isn't there an in between?
No.
If only.
Well, okay, I feel like it would have to be, like, no matter what, even if you confess, and if you're, like, okay, I'm going to say this slowly, because it's all kind of happening really quickly up in here. So, for the mass murderer person, I feel like you can confess to the preacher, the priest, whatever, and they may take you seriously, but in the end, the Lord Jesus, God God, Jesus, the ghost. They know whether or not you're being sincere or unsincere. So, sincere, yay. Unsincere, burning noises.
Okay. But as far as you're concerned, and according to Christians, you're going to hell no matter what you do, because you don't confess that Jesus is your Lord and Savior.
Ooh, okay. The question on that though, as a kid, I did. So,
No.
That'll still work.
No.
Because
of course you have to. This is something you're supposed to. If you truly believe it, truly confess it, you live it the rest of your life based on the Bible. So since you don't. You know, kind of just out there and theist, whatever is.
Well, if what they say is even remotely true, it's gonna be a wild ride.
Ooh, are we talking about Dante's Inferno portion, where like we can go to the first layer where we won't be harmed because we didn't, murder someone or steal from some old lady?
No. Dante Inferno. Dante created a modern idea of hell to give, and it allowed the church to swindle people out of more money. So
makes sense.
That was just creation. If you go strictly by what the biblical text says, there's just heaven and there's hell. There is this heaven on earth thing a little bit, but you still got to be heaven to get there. There's no anything beyond John 3:16 of confessing Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. You're going to hell. All right. So how does that? We're armed with that information. When Christians say that to you, that if you don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell. Point blank, period. Now, they out there telling lies and doing everything that you're doing. They're partying just like you party. They're having intimacy with people just like you're having. You're going to hell, but because they believe in Jesus, they get to go to heaven, even though y'all doing the same thing. How does that make you feel? How does that work in your mind?
You want to enlighten the audience first?
Oh well, that sucks. That's how I feel about it. If I'm going to help for something I naturally need to do, have fun, live my life.
Right.
And then they do it, go to heaven. I do it, I go to hell. I'm like, are you sure it's heaven? Like, we could be going to the same place. They just lied to you. Like.
So do you think that's fair?
I mean, no, but.
Do you think a loving God would actually set it up that way?
I mean, no, but who says he's loving?
Yeah.
For all we know,
you're just reading what some people wrote down. Not to step on any toes or anything.
No, step on toes. We step on toes.
You're reading.
Trust me, my folks know we step on a lot of toes.
You're reading what some people wrote down and that have been edited for over this many years. Take one of these as thousands. So this many, each 10,000 years. Like, I want to see the original unedited Bible, but everyone tells me it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
See, he's one of the people that told me it doesn't exist. But I'm saying, like, as an example, I would have to see that before I would do anything. And I mean,
even if you saw that, does that guarantee it came from a God?
I want to see.
I did hear you say it from the horse's mouth.
Yes, I want to see it drop down into this right here on camera in a ball of light in the next 5 minutes. So if it happens, y'all know.
If it happens, we all convert.
Yeah, right now. Turn this in.
But I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, got 5 minutes.
I don't think that's going to happen. So basically, you don't think that that's accurate. You don't think it's fair nor accurate.
I think none of the stuff they have in Christianity is accurate. They used it to colonialize people, enforcing them to do stuff. Like, I don't think they have any type of right to say it's fair or justified.
Yeah, crusades and go.
Like they killed people over that type of stuff.
But then everyone killed people. I'm not trying to justify that, but everyone killed someone.
I mean, yeah, but their Christianity is supposed to be loving.
It's love with a sword. It was a love tap. I love you. Oh.
Yeah, no.
So
Whoops.
now that's an interesting point. So growing up as young African American, black men, heavy melanated men, whatever you want to call it, with ancestors who went through the American slave trade, went through the Sahara slave trade. You know, we're talking like a whole lot of slavery just because you're black or economics or something like that. All justified through either the Bible or the Quran. And the Torah, which is all of them together, justifies the chattel slavery of black people.
Wasn't
Well, didn't the
Bible-
Book of Mormon, Mormon, they changed their mind in like 1973. Like, okay, so we were putting on a show and my friend had the Book of Mormon.
Right.
And I was listening to him practice one day, and he had to sing the song. It was like, and then it's like in the Mormon church in like 1970, he changed their mind about black people. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. So what happened in 1973? Okay, so 1973, President Jimmy Carter said that I'm going to take away your 501c3, Church of the Latter-day Saints, if you don't allow black people to become priests in your church. Because prior to 1973, all black people were cursed they were either the cursed children of Cain, or they were the cursed children of Ham, or they were the cursed because in the battle of heaven between Jesus and Lucifer, the ones who didn't pick either side, the ones who were Switzerland, said they got cursed to be black on earth, and the only way they can go to heaven is to go through a ceremony and serve the white people in heaven. That's what the Church of Latter-day Saints taught, because that's what their leadership taught, and they said that they were divinely given that information from God. So that's what they taught up to 1973. And but no black, you won't find a black priest prior to 1973 for the Church, the Latter-day Saints. If they did, if you find one, they're lying, because their church doctrine wouldn't allow it. But taxation, which is a powerful weapon, changed that. But even that the Mormons really still personify the idea of Christianity. Used to teach that black people didn't have souls, justified slavery, the beating of slaves, but it's justified because it's in their Bible. It is in the Bible to say that if you beat your slave, as long as they can get up after 2 days and they don't die, you're all right for beating that slave. That if you get a slave from a foreign land, or the foreigners who live in your land, you can take those slaves, keep them forever for their entire life, and their children become your slave, and you can pass them down to your sons. So it justifies slavery and makes it okay and says it's fine.
People back then were just...
So according to that, and I said this on a video that I did yesterday, according to that, and according to Christianity, the slave owners from American colonialism will be in heaven right next door to you, according to Christianity.
Well, then I think I'd rather go down. I won't even lie. I think I'd rather go down.
You rather go to hell?
I think so.
Yeah, I understand that one.
Like people back then, it was so easy to just twist anything, because there's no Google, there's no research,
Right.
there's no this. Back in like 1930, back in like 1501, this yellow ball in the sky, this is called the moon. This other person said it was the sun.
But Shanti, you can go to coachrenz.com/the store. So that's CoachRenz.com/the-store, and you can order the book and it'll get sent to you digitally. Should be able to order. If you have a problem with it, just let me know. Okay?
Got books.
Yes, I wrote a book called How to Escape Mental Welfare. I'm currently writing another book called How to Find Your Divine Soulmate. So we write books, but it takes a special thing to deal with the youth of the world. All right. So moving forward, where do you see your spirituality going? I mean, you have you got different things going on in your life. You got your grandparents, who I'm sure you love and you respect. You got your mom, I'm sure you love and respect. You got your dads, you love and respect. You got your friends, but now friends are gonna come and go. You're gonna have some, you're gonna lose some. When you graduate high school and you think you're gonna maintain these friendships, you might, but more than likely you're not. You know. So
hurt my reality right there.
And then you're gonna meet people. Whatever your choice is, like every decision you make in your life, where you live, what do you do after high school, you're gonna meet people and they're gonna be influential in your life. So with all of that, right? Where do you think? How do you think your spirituality? Where do you see your spirituality developing? Do you see yourself conforming to one of the isms and anities?
I see my spirituality the same place it is right now.
Not conformity, bro.
Cause like, I go to history class with the same mindset. Everything they say is 7% true. 7, not even a double digit.
Why is such a specific number?
What's 7? It's just a good number.
That's what they use as a lucky number.
7, but you know what? 7 is the number of spirituality, of spirituality. So that's not bad.
Maybe that's why it's
7. So 7%. So you say 7% of what they say is true. So the rest of you saying is untrue.
Yeah, it's forced to keep us unaware. You know, that's why I'm not cool with Christianity at all. Because their track record is not the cleanest.
Okay.
I love that.
And what do you see your spirituality on?
Well, that's a good question. So I see just one of 3 possibilities. 1, either I abandon the idea entirely, which I'm not gonna do, but there's always that small chance.
You mean be atheism?
Yeah, or at least go back to deism.
All right.
Or do something else, maybe a Buddhist again.
All right. Buddhist again.
Yeah, middle school.
Sorry.
Indeed.
Get your prana.
I would like to actually start, or get more people to believe in it, or
Start a religion.
Yes, or at least, cause like, let's be.
So you want to start your? Wait. Let's not get off track. What are your 3? Okay, so atheism.
Atheism, spread it more, or nothing changes.
Spread more what?
Spread more like just spread it more. Cause so far the only people talk about are my friends, and you guys.
What are we spreading? Spreading
my religion.
Your religion. Oh.
Meaning, like, either it spreads or it ends up just being me. Because, like, I've told a lot of people this. They don't,
Wait.
They don't believe it.
Because, see, you're talking to me, and I know what you're talking about, but they don't know what you're talking about. What is your religion of spreading that you're talking about? The religion you're talking about spreading.
Well, I'm very glad you asked. My religion is, I nicknamed it Freest.
Freest.
Yes. I believe in a deity called the Allmaker. See, the Allmaker, one of the great deities, was lonely. In all of his infinite wisdom, infinite power, it was lonely. So, they started creating things. I don't believe in just one universe. I believe in a multiverse, but I don't adhere to the many worlds theory. But like, I think he created everything. I say he because I just like giving things a pronoun, but it's an it.
Created all the other guys.
Yeah, I don't. Yes, it created.
So the Allmaker created everything.
The Allmaker
created all of
everything. Thus, it allows me to worship any way I see fit. So if I want to go to church, I can go to church and just listen to the teaching. But when I pray, I'll say Allmaker or the Lord, and I know what I'm talking about. So like.
So what about when you go to the Buddhist temple and you're meditating? What is the Allmaker doing with the meditation?
Sending me down energy.
So you're getting downloads and energy from the Allmaker.
Yep. Like
so if you're practicing Ifa, and what is the Allmaker doing then?
See, that one is the good one. So because you typically pray to a certain Orisha or ancestor for this and that, how I see it, it's like this. Take it as this is one point and this is another point. So when I pray, it goes to the Orisha, and the Orisha send it up to the Allmaker. And depending on what's going on or whatever, the Almighty will either send down the good, the bad, or the ugly. It's
So,
just really just bad.
I like
Look,
that more than
I allow because at the time I came up with this, I was 16, so I haven't had this forever.
Yeah, I ain't create my religion.
You should.
but you know what? It's okay.
It allows me to worship through every way because, I still believe the teachings of Christianity. I still like some of the Buddhist stuff. I like Ifa.
Put a mix on it.
Yeah, just put my own spin on it. Nothing but individuality, non-conformism. Let's go.
And favorite food is popcorn.
Favorite food is popcorn?
Popcorn,
Yeah, I know
pretzels,
that.
Oreos.
I make all that. And Uncle Renz popcorn.
See?
But I like, so I can be the all maker?
Make a popcorn.
The all maker, the popcorn deity?
Yes.
You're the deity of popcorn?
Yes.
But no, I mean, but you know what? The thing about it, we're laughing, we're joking about that, but that is not too far from historically how any and all religions have somewhat been created. Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard literally said, I want to make money, so I'm going to create a religion. And Chilaling, Scientology. So,
Super secretive too.
you know, if you stack it and pack it the right way, and
It's all about that.
do it.
Look, anyone will buy anything.
But there is nothing wrong, but in the way that you're saying it, I actually like what you're saying. It reminds me of Taoism, where Taoism is really more about just understanding the nature of the universe and the nature of the creator and not putting the creator in a box. Like the very first saying in Taoism is that the moment you give the way, it's called the way, the moment you give the way a name, it is no longer the way. So the moment you categorize or put it in a box of any entities or isms, you put it in that it is only in this Bible, it's only in this Vedic, it's only in this, you know, this Quran, you have now, it is no longer the way or the creator. So you're actually closer to a higher understanding than most people, period. So, but we're gonna let these guys go, and we're gonna talk about our year in review, what we've learned, how we've gotten better, things that we can do better moving into 2019. If you guys got any final words, because I know that there's like some video games or something with your name on it. So
I'll be real, most likely they're his, but I honestly would not mind staying and continue to talk about this, because look, the more I hear about this kind of stuff, it's like a towel getting wet. I'm just going to absorb this, and some of it may be absorbed into my religion. It may not be, but at least I'll learn something better than playing some cheap video game.
I would rather go into Io's religion than Christianity. Like,
Go
to be
team.
honest, like, cause like if you think about it, it makes more. His religion makes more sense than Christianity. It seems more free, you know.
all right,
And I don't like to be forced into things, and I'm gonna rebel.
right.
So, forcing me not to eat bacon and forcing me to love my fellow neighbor is not the way to get me to conform to something.
Yeah, I never liked the rules because they're so set in stone. You're not supposed to. Well, when you do Ifa, you do some things and they take away some things. What about if I eat this one time? Like, what if I'm not supposed to eat pork. I'm not supposed to eat fish. I'm not supposed to wear the color red. These are specifically my taboos, not like some people may have them as well. They may have more, they may have less. Like I know a person who had to become a vegan because all their meats got taken away. Like what happens then? I'm getting mad about that. If I eat one thing, I was told I'm supposed to go and pray and ask if it's okay or for forgiveness. It's food.
And I have to go
I
through
was
that
hungry. I can't.
this summer. I have to get all my. Hopefully they don't take my color black.
Before we continue, let's catch a couple of comments here before we continue.
If they take the color black, that's gonna be messed up. That's half my wardrobe.
Let's
They took
see.
my color red when I got my brand new red shoes. I was so sad. I had to throw them away.
Let's see. It's stuff like they suppress. Yeah, we did. They were suppressing because of the society that we live in, but they are freeing themselves. As you're listening to us now, you've been trying to order. Okay, we got that part. You need that Hey, look, there's a place here in Atlanta that I got it from. but they don't have them all the time. This is cool. These young men, it's cool to get young people into the truth. Yeah, and they actually seem pretty deep for some young men. Yeah, they are. They are. So they want to stay a little bit longer, so we're gonna keep getting deep into this. Let's explore this new religion of
let's go.
the All-Maker.
I won't lie. 2 years, like I'm not super religious or super spiritual. When I go to pray, I would honestly prefer I go pray alone in a dark room. So I haven't come up with all the ideas, or I haven't come up with the, like, I'm not like the Bible. I can't explain every little single scenario or anything, but I can try.
But here's the thing about that. The moment you can say that you don't know, actually makes you wiser than most people who are leading a religious group. Because religious leadership feel like they have to have the answer to everything, which is why there's so much made up stuff, right? Which is why there's like, on the Sabbath, you can't take more than 1,000 steps.
It's like telling the story on
or here's the thing. Who said when the Sabbath is?
That's true.
When, according to,
Saturday or Sunday, right?
It's either Saturday or Sunday, but that's based on a calendar created by man. Who was there to say this was Monday, this was Tuesday, this was Wednesday? Which those names are made up after Norse mythology. Like Wednesday is Woden's day, which means Odin.
I know. Like
Friday is Frigga's day.
I know about the month. I know about the months. I
didn't
don't
know
know
that.
about the days. Like I know August is from Augustus.
Augustus Caesar.
Yeah.
The one thing about Christianity I really didn't understand is the scheduling of it, is because like they
You just hate getting
said
up early.
they said God worked for 5 days and rested on
Or
the
6 days.
6 days.
6
He
days
rested on
or
the
7.
He rested on the 7th day.
Right.
Why do we go to church on the 7th day while he's resting? Like, I understand if you go to church all like the whole week and then the 7th day
You rest
as well. Like
because what you'll find is that in almost every religion conforms to societal norms, right? Prior to the Romans actually used to work every day, 7 days a week, when they worship when people were free to worship whomever they wanted to worship, and you just went to temple when you needed to go to temple. But it was once they started becoming Christian, they had to adopt this idea of a day of rest. They actually thought the Jewish people within the Roman Empire were lazy as all get out because they had to have this day of rest, where the Roman culture said you work. But as they took over, they started incorporating this day of rest. So religion has a tendency to adapt itself to whatever environment it's in, not the environment adapting itself to the religion. So in the All-Maker religion here with Io, and we're going to start worshiping the All-Maker here.
Amen.
So does the All-Maker have a day of rest? Is there a day of rest, or is it just
every day?
I mean, like for people, I won't lie. This is what I'm coming up with on the spot because I've never really thought about it. I mean,
we're creating a religion?
Yes, we're
creating a religion.
in the only live chat, we're still creating it right now.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So let me make sure. So let's recap. Let's recap this religion for a second.
Yeah.
So the All-Maker was sitting there lonely.
Yes.
So the All-Maker is emotional.
It feels emotions.
It feels emotion. So it's lonely. And then it said, I want to create everything. So it starts creating everyone. But it also created all the different religions and all the other minor deities so that people can have a connection to the All-Maker.
That's why there's never more than one side of the story.
So can you, with the All-Maker, can I go around just killing people? Or does everybody have a right to life?
This one isn't, I don't know, as I've seen it, I've never said that the All-Maker has I've always thought the All-Maker is just to observe.
So it's just observing.
Yes, it just observes.
There isn't heaven or hell.
It just observes. I mean, morally, I would say not to go murdering people, but I think everything has a right to life except insects. I say that because we've all been there, and you see an insect in the room, and you leave it alone, and then you go do your thing, and then the insect comes and bugs you.
Right.
Because
That's why they're called bugs.
Right, but the Allmaker allows you to
freely worship.
come to your freely worship.
Yes, come to it.
Come to your own. Come to it however you want to. And what is the goal? Because most people need a goal in their religion. They have. Okay, so people exist on Earth, and they have to go through different traumas and different situations. And most people will believe in a religion because they need a goal that one day, if they follow this and they endure this life here, that they'll get to live in this paradise where they'll feel no pain no more, they won't struggle no more, they'll be fat, happy, and loving. So is there a goal in the Allmaker religion? Or are we cycling back to keep experiencing things?
Yeah, I was talking about like reincarnation.
So
but except, it's like a certain thing. It's like a 50-50. Meaning, on one part, you would go to a different plane.
Right.
And you would be born in that plane. Like I said, it doesn't adhere to the many worlds theories, but it kind of does, like the multiverse.
But it adheres to the multiverse. So you might be in this universe,
and where everything is exactly the same, but
and then you go to another universe. So you die, you go to another universe.
Yeah, you never it's like a giant. It's like the Earth. You would never walk around it entirely, but you would always go somewhere different.
Okay.
You never reach back to the same spot.
Wasn't there a book on something like that? Like whenever someone died, they were put into like their doppelgangers, body.
I know there's a movie on Netflix like called like Number 4 or like 4 for somewhere or something like that. There are aliens that came down, and when one of them dies, they go into the other one's body. So like there are like 7 of them. Whenever one of the numbers dies, they always go into the next number, the next ascending number.
What happens when you reach
Number one never dies. Number 1 has been told to be immortal.
So okay, wait, we're going.
Sorry.
So in this religion, your Allmaker religion, what would you say your biggest differentiator, other than everybody gets to you find your own pathway to creation, to some form of heaven? What else would be different? Is there a devil?
No. How I've always seen it, okay, so this is going to be one of my deepest things here. How I've always seen it works. It's like kind of like the Bible, meaning we all have godliness in us, but we also have like devilness in us. And I mean like we all could do these awesome, extraordinary things when we put our minds to it, or when we don't. We can accidentally do some amazing things. We can also do some really lowbrow, evil stuff, and you just find someone that's in the middle. Like I've never considered it being like except when I was in Christianity, but like I've never seen it as like outside. There's this dude watching me that's like better be good or else we can't hear him. Santa's like.
So there's this one of my favorite books since 2011 is called Outwitting the Devil. All right, it was written by a guy named Napoleon Hill. Most people know Napoleon Hill for his book, Think and Grow Rich, is what most people know who Napoleon Hill is from. Know of Napoleon Hill. But to me, his greatest book he ever written was called Outwitting the Devil. And the major concept, one of the major concepts, is that there is no corporeal, there's no bodily version of a devil. There's no bodily version of a God either. That you are the devil and you are God all in your own mind, because the negative portions of your brain is the devil. All your negative thoughts, your procrastination, your laziness. Those are the things that are of the devil that creates your image of hell and sends you to hell. Whereas you have indefiniteness of purpose, not procrastinating, clear in thought, not allowing sex, food, alcohol, or anything like that to overwhelm you and control your life. That is your God. That is you being God. That's your inner God working towards you and getting you into the mental state of heaven. So
maybe I agree with this guy. I've never read the book, but it turns out I like it.
I agree with some of the stuff, but like you having a God in you and a devil, I say is like weird, because in Christianity, God made the devil.
Right.
Yeah, but then you I can do in your image. I can do all the miracles you can do.
Yeah, but like that's why I think it's weird, because like he didn't have to make this evil being, but Christianity
That's
needed
also
someone to
true.
fill in this bad guy position.
Yeah, I was about to say, because God is all knowing. I thought he would have realized beforehand that he created a creature. We'll go with that. A creature that first of all, angels are supposed to be perfect, but this one felt jealousy. I mean, granted, whether or not if that's
What was he
normal,
jealous of?
Well,
Is he jealous of God?
Well, how
evidently-
Papa says it.
Evidently, angels are not perfect.
Or at least this one was bad.
If a third of them can revolt against the God, then they could not. Now you have to bring up a
I
good thought
forgot that
process.
they actually revolted. I thought
Which I think is weird. He could have just shut that down instantly. Like,
Right.
oh, you wanna come at me, the Almighty? Nope. Y'all all can't fly no more. Stop it.
But if he's all knowing, if God is supposed, if the Christian, Judaic, Muslim God is all knowing, then he knowingly created
traitors.
beings that he knew would revolt against him,
Well, I think.
and then got mad at them for doing it.
But he knew it was gonna happen.
Decided that since I got mad at you, now I'm going to create a universe, right? Because this is all supposedly happened before the universe is created. Creates this universe, and then makes Earth, and there are all these other planets, but he makes Earth and says, now I'm going to send you, all you corrupt angels, down to Earth as your prison, because Earth is the prison that they were sent to. And then he said, hey,
My prisoners.
I'm going to make these beings in my image,
So you can
Adam and Eve,
screw them over.
but I'm not going to teach them the difference between good and bad. But all the ones who revolted against me are on Earth.
And are solely.
So his brother,
Wait,
that
are
means
the
his
ones that
son revolted.
revolted completely bad? Because I mean, honestly, it seems like they were just gullible at times. Like, yeah, come on, look, it's a brand new thing I'm about to start. You can be a part of it, or you could be against.
So he's saying Lucifer, devil, whomever was a great salesman.
I mean,
But
when
what
you look at it from multiple aspects.
But you have to think about this. How smart is this guy that he would knowingly create beings that will revolt against him, then create a universe, then put all of them on one planet, then create these other beings on the planet that don't understand good and evil, and expect them to not fall for the okie doke and eat an apple or whatever the fruit was, and then because they
tell me it
did,
was an apple. You're supposed to say the fruit.
but after they ate the fruit, then he don't know where they are, saying that, hey, where are you? Where are you? Oh, you're in the garden. Oh, why are you in hiding and all that kind of stuff? Who told you were naked? So he knows some stuff.
You know.
Then get mad at them. He get mad at them for eating the fruit that
Sounds kind
He
of
did
demonic, that somebody who revolted against him left them and able to convince them to do it. Left a negative person right in their midst while he was frolicking away. Instead of saying, you know what?
which is weird.
Yeah, when you ever like.
And then wait. And then after he cast them out, then one of the brothers killed the other one. He didn't punish the one who killed the brother.
He did.
He didn't protect him.
I was like, he made the other one immortal.
And then he put a mark on the one. He said, well, I didn't protect the one you killed, but I'm going to protect you so that nobody can kill you. But then after generation, he said, forget it. I regret what I did. I'm going to kill everybody. Oh, except for these 4 people.
That sounds
Or
weird.
8 people.
That sounds weird. You said he made someone immortal.
Yeah. Okay. So some of the stories I've heard about Cain and Abel.
The mark of Cain being he's made immortal.
Yeah, he was made immortal, but at the same time, a little bit later, before the flood, there are stories of Cain talking to God or praying or something, and asked to talk to Abel, and Abel talks to Cain, and some of the stories go that.
I ain't never heard this story.
You've never heard this?
No, I have never heard this story.
I can't remember what the.
And I've heard a lot of stories.
I can't remember the origin of this one, but he tries to talk to Abel. Abel is in like a coffin or in the ground, and Abel comes out and tries to kill Cain the first time.
You sure you weren't watching the movie?
Yeah, I'm sure. Because I remember, I just recently heard this, so I'm pretty sure.
If I could create a religion, one person said they create a religion, it would be one where you just have knowledge of self as the goal.
Knowledge of self.
Knowledge of self.
Knowledge of self.
Truly knowing who you are.
I would like to
Would be the
know
goal.
that too.
Well, what happens if you find it out and you're not too happy with what you find?
Change it.
Yeah, that's what.
I mean,
in yourself, you're able to
What
change
if it's too
anything.
late? You can't change it.
You know what? See, that's another thing about the book that I was just telling you about, Outwitting the Devil. It talks about the fact that if you commit yourself to the same habits over and over and over and over and over again, that they become permanent, right? But the only way to change who you are is to change your habits, right? So, because let's say,
start working more, Issa. Start working.
I'm just saying, let's say you are accustomed to when you have a task, right? You have a task to do. You don't complete the task fully. Let's just say that's your habit.
That's a shot.
Right?
Can I just say this?
Wait, let's just say that's your habit. Then,
God bless that last hour when you get that just burst of strength and you
right.
just.
I'm just saying, let's just say that that's your habit, and you're, say, how do you? 16? Let's say you're 16, and you have that habit. Well, if you do it all your 16th year, you do it all your 17th year, your 18th, your 19th, 20th year, you have now created a habit of not completing tasks. Now, when you're 16, you just get fussed at by people, adults, they just fuss at you. But when you're 20,
You get fired.
You get fired from your job. If you're in the military, right, you get kicked out or you get bad reviews and then you don't get promoted and then you're not making that much money in the first place and then you're really not going to make that much money and no woman is going to want to be with you because you're broke, right? You can't get promoted. You always got to do like the worst job.
His birthday was yesterday. Don't be so harsh.
I'm just saying.
You make it sound like every woman in the world is a gold digger. Jeez.
No, every woman in the world is not a
She's
gold
just a
digger,
friend
but
of me.
almost every woman in the world wants a certain level of financial security. They don't want to worry about, are the lights going to be on?
We got candles.
Everyone wants to be comfy.
Are we going to be cold? Are we going to eat today? Are they going to come and throw our stuff out because we can't pay rent? Every woman is not a gold digger, but every woman wants a level of financial security. But, even at that, if you have a lady and you have this habit of not completing tasks all the way, and she says, can you take out the trash? And then you take out the trash in the kitchen, but you leave the trash in the bathroom. I'm just saying, then she's gonna be like, he won't complete things, he won't finish things, so then she's not going to trust you. And since she's not gonna trust you, but you create that habit, and then you're 40, 50, 60 years old and you got that same habit, and you like, man, these ladies ain't about nothing. No, you ain't about nothing, because you can't finish it nothing. So you can't keep a job, you can't keep a lady, you can't keep that. But the moment you decide in your mind that you're going to, yeah, it was, but I like where I'm going. But the moment you decide that you're going to be a different person, you then have to start acting differently, doing the different things over and over and over again, in order for you to change your current habit into the new habit that you want to have that will get you in life what you really want to have. See, that was a little bit about what I was going to talk about in the second part of this when I thought you guys were only going to be with me for like the first hour, because I was going to talk about the year in review.
I was more thinking along the lines of too late, like, oh, you're about to die, and you just realized that you weren't the perfect person. I mean, no one's perfect, but like,
Straight perfect.
How come you didn't?
Yeah, I was about to say, how did we do that better than you went faster?
I didn't do it better. You just finish yours faster than I did. Anyway, go ahead.
I was thinking more like, oh, you're like, let's say, for an example, you got shot. You're bleeding out, and you're just reminiscing about all the trash things you've ever done, or all the bad habits and stuff that you could have changed, but it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, dang, that sucks. At least I have children to do better than I did.
Maybe.
That's it.
Because let me tell you about this. And we are going to segue into our year in review and what we're going to do moving forward. Parents often say, I've raised my kids to do better than I did, right? Or I hope my kids do better than I did. But parents often teach their children the same bad habit that they have, because where do you think most kids learn their bad habits from?
Friends.
Their parents, teachers, friends, and clergy, whomever they're around. That's where you learn most of your habits. Right. Any priest, imam, pastor.
I was going to say any official in a religion.
So basically, when I see this a lot where you have parents with these bad habits, but then they're trying to tell their children to not repeat and do what they're doing, have the same life, but the parent won't change their habit. So why do they expect the kid to have a different habit? Unless the kid just, like, there are habits that my parents had that I don't have because I hated their habit. Like, I hated it with a passion. So I just wasn't going to pick up that habit. But there are other habits that I didn't hate that my parents had, but they weren't good habits that I actually picked up. And then it wasn't until I'm in my 30s and 40s trying to change some of those habits. Like as much as I talk about finances on here, my parents had horrible, horrible financial habits. I mean, my mom worked 2.5 jobs. I appreciate everything she did, but we didn't have food for a long time. We had to go to like grandma's house and all kind of things. So we didn't have food. We didn't have furniture to sit on. We had a roof but no furniture. There was a lot of things like that, but some of it was because nobody taught her finances, so she didn't teach us finances. So when I went out into the world, I messed up my finances a lot, and then sometimes I get it right, but then I mess it up. My answer was always, if I just make way more money than I need, right? But then once the need catches up to what I'm making, then I fall into a hole, then I gotta go and try to make more money than I need again. So I had this like horrible financial habit that I had to break, a few years back. And it was like only about 6-7 years ago that I broke that habit. But it took a lot of years in order for me to break that habit, right? So I know you're that tender 16 and 18-year-old right now, but trust me, the habits you have now are the habits you're going to give your kids if you maintain them. Which is why, like, I posted this thing earlier today where I told people, where I put that, I don't know exactly how it went, but last year this time frame, it was like hashtag leaving it in 2017. Like, I'm leaving all my bad habits, I'm leaving all these people, I'm leaving all these, I'm leaving this 60 pounds I picked up all in 2017. And then these people, and then I said, so what did you manifest in 2018 based on what you're leaving?
The same people.
And then what are we going to go forward in 2019? But oftentimes, most people are carrying the same thing that they supposedly casted off in 2017 into 2019.
I'm not gonna lie, whenever a new year comes up, I'm like, doing the exact same thing I did last year.
I always hope for me to react. I would prefer that I act better, or respond better, or think things out more in certain situations. Like, when you guys did your little thing and I went upstairs, I sat there and I went into the room and I prayed. I was like, I prayed to the Almighty that, like, I respond better to situations. So, like, for example, I was making all A's in all of my classes, but failing math.
All right.
And I was thinking about, I studied for a week. I learned the things I didn't know, but it was like at the very end where only one thing mattered. It was like, in retrospect, I probably should have did that at the beginning.
What's the one thing?
It was we had to practice ACT. That was 20 questions.
Okay.
This whole the questions on the quiz were about.
I'm not understanding the connection. So you prayed that you made good grades.
Yes.
You were struggling in math.
Yes.
But at the end of the semester, only the ACT matters?
No. What I mean is I was praying for good grades and that I make better decisions or respond better to certain situations. And as an example, I was saying, like, earlier this year, last year technically, I was failing a class and I didn't decide to actually, like, really study until the very last week of that class when I had this small little test. I was like, just to boost up any small grades.
Okay.
I was saying I should have did that.
And how'd you do?
Well, I aced it.
You aced the test.
Yeah, because it was a curved test. There was no way to fail unless I didn't do the class.
Well,
So you didn't study and you failed. You was failing.
But
then when you decided to change your habit and study, you passed. You aced it.
Yes, but the thing was, I could have changed it. Instead of it being the final gambit.
Right.
I could have made it where it wasn't, where I could have not taken the test and been fine.
So you could have been studying all year.
Yes, instead.
So that you weren't in this crunch time,
and
in this state where it's like the nerves and the energy of the anxiety of this test. Right.
And that's what I mean when I say respond better in certain situations and making better decisions.
Let me tell you how that look in the adult world. No, it's procrastination, right? It's putting things off, right? I tell people all the time, 10% of what you make, you need to save for investments on things that's going to bring you a return on your investment, right? Meaning that you're going to save 10% of every dollar. What's 10% of a dollar?
10 cents.
It's 10 cents, all right? So 10% of $100 is? $10. All right, so every time you get $100, you take $10, you put that over here. Like when my kids were growing up, they had jars, right? So every time they got money, 10% went into, okay, so every time they got money, they had 70% can go towards whatever, paying their bills. They didn't have bills,
Kid bills.
but I just want to get them used to it. 10% went to savings.
On my dollhouse.
Another 10% went to play. This is what they go to the movies, go buy candy with, whatever they want to do, and they had to spend that every month. Their play money needed to be spent every month. And then 10% went into what's called an investment account.
Their play money needs to be spent?
Yeah, because you gotta have fun in life. You don't have fun, and all you're doing is just saving money and investing money.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel bad now. As a kid, I would get money and I would just save it. I found a car when I was
You want to spend 10% of it. So then the other 10% goes to your investments. So I would tell them this 10%, this is what you go and you buy things that you can trade and sell. You know, like you can go to like a sports store and buy everything on clearance and then flip it on, you know, WhatsApp or not WhatsApp, what's the thing? Wish app, offer up, all those kind of things. So 10%, and then you rotate that money over and over and over again. Adults don't do that. They'll say, I want to be in a better financial position, but they won't save the 10%, right? So if you give me an adult who makes $50,000 a year, what's 10% of that?
Is it 5,000?
5,000. So that means that at the end of the year, they'll have $5,000 to invest into something. At the end of 10 years, how much would they have? What's 5,000 times 10 is? $50,000. See what that math do for you? $50,000.
I had to think about it for a second.
They got $50,000. So if they got the patience to wait, they got $50,000 at minimum. You know, they would put it in the right places to get some compounding interest, but they got $50,000 at minimum that they can now invest into whatever business that they want to start.
I know what I would invest in.
What was that?
I'd invest in that religion.
In Io's religion?
Because it's starting up. And it sounds like
You need that startup money for the religion?
We can go buy ramen noodles and talk about it.
But so all these people but that was 2017. If a person had been started saving 10% of what they make in 2017, it's 2019, right? So they would have 5,000 for 2008. By the time you get to the end of 2018, they would have. If they were starting at the end of 2017, at the end of 2017, they would have $5,000 right now, ready for investments. And there's some great investments that you can do with $5,000 that most people don't even realize. You can start your Airbnb, you can buy you a tax lien property, you can do some things to start making money. I know y'all don't know what the heck I'm talking about on that one.
Well, I know about buying.
You know what Airbnb is, right?
I don't. I know about buying property though, because when I worked for the city, my first paycheck back when I thought you could just buy like a small section of land, just keep it barren like that. Like they were selling these little small 1 mile stretches for like really cheap in Knoxville, and I said okay. And we went to them and talked to us. Said, so some of the interns were like, oh yeah, let's all do it as a group so we can keep in contact basically, and then invest in it, whatever, because property goes up sometimes, goes down, so it's a good win or lose. So we said, can we go buy this? And they said, yeah, but you'd have to build on it. You need like 3 years from now. It's like,
right.
3 years from now, I won't have a job.
Those are like, what those are like the city will have I can't think of it. It's like an empowerment zone. So they'll sell you the land dirt cheap, but then you gotta build certain kind of businesses on it or certain things, houses, whatnot.
Yeah, I was just
Because
trying to
they're
buy
trying to
a
go.
little parking lot so I could skateboard. That was it.
But let's see. Tony Snow said, "How do you manifest the things you want in life?" Mr. Buddhism, how do you manifest the things you want in life?
Well, remember, just ahead of time, this is coming from an 18-year-old with not much life experience. So let me just set that out there.
That in itself is very wise because most people are like, I know, but go ahead.
I would just say, first, I would say it takes small actions at first to get what you want. So, as you were talking about money a few months ago, set aside like a little bit of money. Set it somewhere that you'll know where it is, but set it somewhere that you know you're not gonna go. Like, it's something you would have to go out of your way to go get. So, like for me, I'm short. I could set money on like a top shelf or something in my house. I could see it there, but I'm not gonna go out of my way and struggle to go get it. But I could keep saving up money so I can get what I want, or you can
I'd have
always-
someone hide it for me.
So that's how you're gonna manifest something. Have somebody
Like I have a trusted relative.
Yeah, Mr.
hide
I
somewhere
don't-
because if
I
I
don't
know what
trust
it is,
banks.
I'm gonna go spend it.
But you can also send. I'm gonna say it like we used to say. You can send the good energies out there by doing good things and expect karma to pick up some of the slack. But I won't lie, I wouldn't do that. I would totally try to work for what I would do.
You try to work for it? All right. So let me give you the Coach Renz version, Tony. There's a couple of things that you have to understand if you want to manifest something in your life. If you were looking for the check to just come in the mail, pie in the sky, without you doing anything, that's not going to happen. Wait a minute. You said, for example, if you say you do not want to be broke this year and you don't want to go paycheck to paycheck. All right. So great.
Good job.
All right. I like your example. Here's the thing. You're saying that you don't want to go broke this year and you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. The first thing is that you got to get a definite purpose in your mind. You got to get it in your mind of what it looks like to not be paycheck to paycheck and not be broke, right? What does that look like to you? Does that look like you sitting in your house and it's the first of the month and you know your rent paid? Like when you know your rent paid the first of the month, you sit in your house like this, like,
Yes.
this mine. Right.
The lights are on.
The lights are on.
When mom tells me you have the rent
Yeah.
paid on the first of the month, like, Mom, we're drinking apple cider tonight.
Whatever it is, that feeling like there's like at my store right now at Uncle Renz Popcorn, the telephone line's not working. I know I paid the bill, so I'm indignant about that thing. I'm like, hey,
You better fix
you
it.
fix my phone because I know I paid for it. Like, so what does that feel like? How do you move? What's your energy when you know when you're not broke? You got to get that feeling inside you. You got to have a clear picture, a clear image of that. And you meditate on that clear picture and image constantly, right? Because we have to create in our mind first before it will materialize. Now, let it be no mistake that after you get it clear in your mind, and as you are getting it clear in your mind, you got to understand the law of cause and effect. For every cause, there is an effect. For every effect, there is a cause. Nothing happens by luck. Nothing happens by chance. There's no such thing as luck or chance. All right. If you get hit in the head by a rock while you're walking down the street, it's not luck or chance.
You deserve it.
It's not that you deserve it. It's that a car drove by, there was a rock in the road, and the tire spun that rock into the air, and you just happened to be walking in a trajectory where the rock bust you in your head.
This is so specific.
Cause and effect. Everything works in cause and effect.
This
So,
happened to you before?
no, but I had a crack on my windshield because a dang on truck hit it. Truck threw a rock at my windshield.
Oh.
But cause and effect. If I wasn't on the highway, it wouldn't happen, but I was on the highway. Cause and effect situations.
You in a different
So there's no
lane, you
luck.
got hit.
Anyway, so if you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, and you get it in your mind what it's like to not live that way, to not be that way, the first thing you got to do is learn how to save. There was an old wise saying that says, if you don't have it within you to save, you don't have it within you to become wealthy. Plain and simple. Rich people know how to save. Wealthy people know how to save. And whatever your level of wealth is, that's why you got to create that in your mind. And create something that's real for you in your mind right now. Because it's good to have something to reach for. You should have something to reach for. But, people. But these humans,
But you got to have that in your mind, right? Now, once you have it in your mind and you start to commit towards some actions that's going to actually facilitate that, 10%. If you don't have a budget, and I'm not talking about you just wrote some numbers on a piece of paper, right? All right, so you've been saving good. But you got to have a budget, though. You got to say that I make, and I'm just using this as a number, I make $2,000 a month. And if I make $2,000 a month, I know I got to get my budget down to where I'm not living on more than 70% of what I make. So you got to get your rent, utilities, food, gas, car note, insurance, all that stuff down to like $1,400, right? You may be at 90%, 98%. That means you got to downgrade some things in your life. You downgrade those things in your life because you need to be able to get down to 70% so you can put 10% into an investment. If you don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, you got to invest in something that's going to bring you cash. And not a network marketing company unless you're going to work that thing like 12 hours a day and you're amazing at recruiting, otherwise it's not going to work. But you got to be able to either selling a product or providing a service, or you invest in somebody else who has that or has something going on for them. You got to invest your money, right?
I'd invest in
but you got to invest in something. Now, the thing about it, one of the things that you made, it depends on your situation. Your first investment may be in yourself, because if, let's say you are making, I've been there, done that, done that
too.
All right. So, okay. So you're on the right path. So the thing about it is, if you got to have patience, and you have to recognize that if it doesn't work out, like, I don't know if I want you to read this book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and I want you to read Outwitting the Devil. Both of those books. Read both of those books. Read both of those books. Let me say it one more time. Read both of those books. The Richest Man in Babylon. I could do affiliation with it. But The Richest Man in Babylon and Outwitting the Devil. Because you have to recognize that Arcad, who was the richest man in Babylon, or became the richest man in Babylon, he saved he saved 10% of a year's salary. He gave his money to a guy who he thought was going to be able to make some money for him. The guy got cheated out of the deal. He lost all his money for the first year, right? After he lost all his money for the first year, did he quit?
Nope.
Exactly. He picked them. He realized what you're learning Outwitting the Devil as well.
You can stay on the ground.
All your what most people would call a failure is just a learning experience for you. You don't quit. You pick yourself up. You start over. You start saving again. You invest in something else. But this time you're a little bit smarter. You know that, because in the example that Arcad had, you don't give your money to the to the brick maker to go buy jewels to sell, right? So you invest your money with people who know how to handle money and how to handle investments and how to handle the area that you're dealing with. Like, if you don't come to me asking me, to invest your money in cryptocurrency. Because one, I don't know much about it, and I don't believe in cryptocurrency. I don't think it's not going to last. It's going to be a fad, and it's already too late to jump in it if you are going for the fad aspect of it. So I don't even study cryptocurrency. I'm not paying attention to it. So if you was like, I would be a bad person to invest your money in cryptocurrency. Now, if you want to talk about a gym, a popcorn shop, or any other kind of food, or most other type of service business, I can talk to that ad nauseum. But I'm not gonna go outside of what I know. I'll point you into another coach, or we'll go to some study together, which would be finding somebody who knows more about that. But anyway, you got to do your due diligence and get yourself investing. But because if you want to talk about doing Airbnbs, I can talk to you about doing Airbnbs. You want to talk about buying tax liens, I can talk to you about doing that. But I can't talk to you about, so you got to make sure you're getting good advice from somebody who knows what they're talking about and have some experience, or they work with somebody who got experience in it. But you got to have the patience. Do you know that an overnight success, a business that's considered an overnight success, is 10 years? No. It takes 10 years for your business to be deemed an overnight success. And that means that you're making like a butt ton of money in 10 years. Then you're overnight success.
usually take 5 to 7 years just to make a profit. So to become like successful, you're talking a long time.
Yeah, I feel like that companies that grow quick, they end up dying fast.
Yeah, because they make too many big, like
I
they
was going
expand too quickly sometimes.
Android media boxes. I don't know what Android media boxes are. So,
Android media boxes?
yeah.
I've heard of it. I have an Android show.
Yeah, like Android phones or like a media app or something.
I don't know.
Never
Media,
heard of it.
and talk about cases.
But the fact of the matter is, if you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, so I own Uncle Renz Popcorn. All right, I started that company technically, I started it in 2012. Actually, I started in 2011. It started out a little slow, then it went off for a good year, and then I made a stupid decision, and I made a dumb decision, and then I lived in the back of my store for 3 years. 3 years I lived in the back of my store, right? Most people would have given up. People were telling me to give up. I told them to kick rocks. But then, after living in my store for 3 years, about 3 years, maybe a little longer, maybe 3.5 years, then things started moving a little bit better, and things are still just moving better. They're still not where I want them to be, but you gotta have a patience to be able to deal with that.
We almost over.
It's like watching movies or TV.
Like it's
No.
not like watching movies.
Okay. Well, I don't know much about that. The Android box, it sounds interesting, but
I don't watch TV.
if you think that, if you're not willing to put 5, 10, 15 years into something, into building something so that you ain't gotta live paycheck to paycheck, you always gonna be living paycheck to paycheck. Because all these little quick hit, quick fixes, they don't work. They don't work. Now you can do some things to augment your pay. You can drive Lyft, you can drive Uber, you can charge birds or lines, you can do drop shipping, you can do things that's going to add, but you got to know that what you're doing is adding to it. A lot of these, I can't stand, like, I'm on a mission this year. If I see anybody in my Facebook feed say, hey, you want to make an extra $200? Inbox me, ask me how, or inbox me. I'm deleting that person from my Facebook. Because all that network marketing scam stuff get on my nerves. Like, in network marketing, only 2% of the people actually make money. Why would you get involved in something where 2% of the people make money?
Well, some people who get into it probably don't know that only they don't get no money.
That's because they're desperate.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
They're
until
desperate.
now.
Well, I don't have Facebook, so I should.
Yeah, they're playing on the desperation. The program Fire Stick.
Oh.
Oh, the fire stick.
They're probably still a little salty that
Well-
they got their thing.
If you can make, and see, things like that, it's not like gig stuff.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to the gig economy. I love the gig economy. You just gotta be ready to move. Like, I'm looking to open up more stores, more gourmet popcorn shops. So I drive Lyft so that I can not take money from my store. I don't have to pay myself for my store, right? And I do a few other things as well. My coaching programs, plus Lyft, plus a few other things. It keeps me from taking money from my store so that I can open up another store like in a month or two. I love the gig economy stuff because it allows you to do things like that on your own time or the time that you give it. But you gotta give it some time. Like, I give it, 6, 8, 9 hours a day. You gotta give it. That stuff is scheduled. I'm taking a slight break during the holidays, but you gotta give it time. The thing about it is, you gotta also recognize that thing can end any day. That thing gonna have its growth and it's gonna have its decline. So when you're doing something that's gig like that, you gotta recognize that you ride it to its high, but as soon as it starts dwindling, you need to find the next thing rising and jump over in that one. If you're gonna do gig economy stuff. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you're doing it, but do something that actually brings you money. Actually brings you money. Stop doing stuff that doesn't bring you money.
Wait, didn't Fire Stick didn't they have a problem with someone hacking into the Fire Stick to get lots of TV shows, and then proceeded to put it on YouTube, make money off of it, and they tried to sue him, but they lost to it because they didn't break none of the rules and regulations within their terms of agreement.
I know Cody had an issue with that. Because Cody, a lot of people go in and just bring a camera into movies and record it like that. So what Cody did was they stopped letting people put up streams that were like that. So now it's like only like a few streams for most movies now.
I have no idea. I don't really do those things. I work. And I watch YouTube.
game.
Yeah, I don't watch those
I
things.
sleep.
So,
I sleep.
but the
game.
thing about that is that if you're mindful about, you got to pay attention to the area of interest that you're in. You know, if that's your source of making money, you got to be attentive, atop of it. Exactly. You see things changing, you got to know, all right, this has changed, so I need to grab on this one. Or, you know, you just got to see that apex and that decline and move with it and keep moving with it and don't get stuck. Too many people get stuck. It's kind of like, when I first got out of the Marine Corps, that dude told me that I would more than likely have 6 different jobs before I actually retire in life. And I was like, what? Because I grew up with parents who, like, you work for the same company until you die or until you retire, and that's it.
On your soul.
Right, but that's how companies work back then, so it kind of threw me off when he said that. Nowadays, the company's not loyal to the employee, and the employees certainly aren't loyal to the company, so you gotta be willing to just move, do what's necessary, you know, get what you need to get out of a situation, but you gotta have patience and you gotta have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're gonna be paycheck, rest of your life.
Plan A, B, C.
If you don't do your job to its fullest,
We're just going at him with this.
Shots are real.
I'm just saying.
You know what started this?
And if you just playing all the time,
The trap.
making light and joking about stuff all the time.
That's how I react to everything.
Yeah. Cue cards and stuff.
TV show.
Whistling noises.
But we are about to end the show for tonight, guys, because now we're just babbling on about different things. Yo, look, Tony, I do have a coaching program that I can help you with, but you know, like all things, I don't do nothing for free.
That's fair. I would never do that.
What did he say? What did Chandel say before I met him?
A design.
A design to a plan would be the stuff.
Question.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't get the whole.
A design.
I don't get the whole sentence.
Design to a plan would be this stuff.
Wait, he's responded.
I will accomplish what I want and need to, but again, need to get my finances taken care of first.
I just think that honestly, when it comes to doing stuff, I think you should have a plan, be willing to adjust,
Yeah.
and just work for it. Because I mean, evil villains say it best.
I mean, yeah, they always have the goodest stuff.
The goodest stuff?
Yeah, the best of the stuff, you know? They always have the best.
Don't let someone else do it. Why
The
have
goodest
meetings
stuff.
when you can do it yourself? Honestly,
Like, they have the best weapons, the best cars, the
Best
best
equipment.
mansions, the best people.
Okay. So, this is the thing. For my like gourmet popcorn shop, I have like the most detailed business plan. And then after the business plan, I actually have a day-to-day plan, right? Because the business plan doesn't function in my day-to-day, it's just the overall big idea. When people sign up with me for Financial Alchemy, they have based on their credit, you have a detailed plan. So you're right, you do need a detailed plan. I was talking to this young lady yesterday, she's 19 years old, and in 15 minutes, I broke down a detailed plan of how in the next 10 years she can have about 20 plus houses that she would own with little to no mortgage, and then she'll be making some money. And I mean, then she wouldn't have to work because she doesn't know what she want to do in life. Renting them. So, but her credit, she doesn't have good credit right now because she's 19, so she doesn't have any credit whatsoever. So in the beginning, I gave her the plan of how to build some credit. So you're right, you need a detailed plan. Now this little girl, she took my email address. I'm gonna see if she emails me to find out the information because I told her a lot in 15 minutes. So I don't know if I told her you're not gonna grasp all of it, but email me and we can talk about it. So you're right, you need a detailed plan. I had to create a detailed plan. See, Chandel, you're not as old as I am, but it's like I knew a bunch of stuff, but I couldn't do everything I knew I wanted to do because I had 3 little small children. You know, I was married at the time, and I had an old man. My father-in-law was in my house, and he was like 70 years old. So I could take moderate risk because of my responsibilities. So I don't know what all your responsibilities are. I don't know how far you can risk things. The little 19-year-old girl, this little joker, 18, he can risk anything and live in the basement. He's good. You're 41 years old. We're not that far apart. I'm just.
Less than confident.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Old, look at the white
So
in his beard.
I'm 47, and even though these little jokers think I'm old,
87.
90.
He meant to say 87.
47. Fact of the matter is, I told you guys I met that couple the other day, and she's 97, he's 96. They still getting in and out of the car and doing all this other kind of stuff, right? And you know, they still in good shape. He didn't retire from work until he was 92.
But did he enjoy doing what he...
Yeah, he enjoyed what he was doing, but he retired at 92. So if I look at that, I'm 47, he retired at 92. So let's say I go to 90 years old of actual working,
Next
right?
year?
Of building wealth, right? So, so that means I got like 43 years that I can grind and build wealth, right? Because this couple, by the way they were moving, barring any accident or any major issues, I'm gonna say that they're probably gonna kick it for at least another 15 plus years, you know?
That's what's up.
And
Yeah,
probably even more.
15.
I'm gonna say the dude probably kick it for another 15 to 20 years, but the way she was moving, she might get another 30 years out of her life.
That's what's
You know,
up.
because
Oh,
she was moving pretty
She
well.
about to hit that world record.
Oh, she was rolling. She jumped off that curve. You know, like you think old people are gonna come off the curve all slow, like they might break their hip. No, she just jumped up, just kept going, just got in the car. I was
Like,
like,
they're
wow.
old. They're old, but
Yeah.
they're some spry old people. Like,
Yeah.
I love them, but they move around too much for me sometimes.
They're not old. But anyway,
Still.
point is, even at 47, I got plenty of time to build wealth. At 41 years old, you got plenty of time to build wealth. If I knew, I tell my kids all the time, if I had me as a father, and I was listening, because I was actually listening when I was you guys' age. If I had me as a father, by the time I was 35, I'd been like wealthy as hell, right? And then I had all these years. But I didn't have me as a father, so
You'd be on Shark Tank.
I would have been the one producing Shark Tank.
I'm about to say, you would have owned it.
I would own the network. But anyway, thing is, you got time. You got to be patient. You got time. There's no reason to rush. You know, the society try to make us rush. Hurry up and get a car, and hurry up and get a house, and hurry up and hurry up and hurry up. But you got time. You got time. I don't give two. If I was still living in the back of my store right now, I wouldn't care if I did. And if somebody didn't like it, I wouldn't.
Kick rocks.
Because y'all know I want to say it differently, but I got these young jokes. I would tell them they can kick rocks. I wouldn't care. You got to develop that mentality that says, I have a goal, and this is what I want to achieve in my life, and I don't give two shits about what anybody thinks about it. Shut up. I don't care what anybody thinks about it. I'm going to do whatever is necessary. If people can't roll with me, if they can't rock with me, then they gotta go. They gotta move on. If my lady don't like it, hey, there you go. If my brother don't like it, there you go. My mom don't like it, there you go.
Drop the L.
Nah, cause I be talking trash to my mom. But you know, you gotta tell people you can't worry about what other people think. Do you know my family members have actually been the biggest ones kept telling me I need to close down my company? Like, nah, man, y'all can go somewhere. But guess
If you
who?
work too hard, I can understand.
But guess who will be the main ones who will celebrate with me though? It'll be the same ones who told me I need to shut down. And then they'll be like, I knew you could make it. Shut up. You gotta have that mentality where you don't give two shits about it and you're gonna get it done. When you get that mentality, you will find it easy to save 10% because you will learn to live without it. And you'll find it easy to start researching and investing. And when you get into that energetic mode, all of a sudden, you'll think it's like a blessing and serendipitous that these people are showing up in your life like, oh, I wanted to get in real estate. And look, they're having a real estate seminar over here. Not them little BS ones where they want to sell you the little train to flip a house. Like, oh, the SBA is doing a special program about real estate. It's not luck. It's not serendipity. It's not some kind of blessing that's coming. They probably all started planning that a year ago. You just happen to find out about it because now you're actually in the mode
and made yourself available to it.
Also check with your local government about that kind of stuff, because sometimes they'll have programs. Like for me, yeah, like for me when they had it was like the summer in the city internship program. It was like the age was like 18 to 25. That's pretty good for starting off. Starting off, city job, $8.75 an hour, 30 hours a week. That's really good. They teach you some stuff that businesses want you to know. That's awesome. But like other stuff with like other local stuff can do that as well.
And it's right. You got to be in the know. Cause I'm gonna tell you guys something. I'm kind of mad right now.
What's that?
There's a new project, construction project, and development project that's going on.
Oh, in the mall?
About 5 miles away from where I am. And because I wasn't paying attention, this other popcorn shop
Open up.
they jumped on and they're already signed up to be in this whole new project.
That was when they catch you sleeping.
I mean, this project is going to draw about 10, 15 million people per year into this area. And yeah.
You caught
so
it.
That would hurt a little bit.
I'm a little salty about that because I wasn't paying attention. And it slipped by me.
You keep one eye on them charts, one eye in your sleep.
Well, every time
Because-
you get a bad review, I would make a better review.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
No, we're not gonna do that. They're a nice family. I like that family the family who did get the contract. I like them. But if I would have saw that when they first started talking about it back in 2017, 2018, I would have been all up on that. I still would have my store where it is, but I would already have the contract for this next one. I mean, I would, even if I had to sell some kids.
What? Why did you point at us?
Oh, I just throw my hands out.
Yeah, you put the thumbs pointing at us. Like, what did I do?
I know, right? I'm gonna sell somebody else's kids. Sell some kids. I got 2 young men for sale. Nah, I'm gonna say like my grandfather used to do us. Like just go knock on people's door. You need your grass cut? I got 2 jokers who can cut your grass. You need your leaves raked? I got 2 jokers who can cut your
I
leaves.
actually like manual labor. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
So we're gonna get out of here, guys.
But
I appreciate you guys. Hey, but here's the deal. So I want you guys to join me next week. Having guests is kind of cool. So next week is gonna be a really different and special kind of guest. Now I know for the ladies who are on here, we're gonna have next week. We're gonna have Zaire Sav from Mystic Mama on here. She is the womb goddess. Okay, she is the womb goddess.
She is the real queen of
If
the
you-
mama.
If you are, let's say you're a woman and you're suffering from endometriosis, she got that pathology. She got you locked down on how to cure it homeopathically without getting cut, without having to lose your womb, lose your ovaries, without all that kind of stuff. You've been having trouble getting pregnant. You got some fertility issues. She got you. She is a master herbalist, a registered nurse. So she has the best of both worlds. She is going to teach you how to heal your womb. And ladies, here's another part. And they about to get mad at me right here. Look, Valentine's Day is coming up. Get it right, get it tight.
Oh, remind me.
Get it right, get it tight.
You said that.
He got the material gift. You got the this gift. I'm just saying. Get it right, get it tight.
PG-13.
Y'all need to-
Those are my only requirements.
No one here is 13.
Y'all need to be here. And even for my guys, y'all think that show is just gonna be for women about womb health and herbalism and that sort of thing. But see, the Mystic Mama, the womb goddess, she also got them herbs, them things that you can do that get you right. So dudes, you need to be here.
Don't need to be sad. Get glad.
I can talk to you about tantra. I can talk to you about breathing. But see the difference. See, I'm talking to you about mental things and breathing things. See, she got all that. Plus, nah, bruh, it's deeper than your Hindi root. See, your Hindi root, that's that common thing. We're gonna talk about some things that get a brother right. You know what I'm talking about? Get a brother tight, get a firm brother, get your muscles right. So
okay, gee.
I love embarrassing teenagers. That is like such a delight. But for real, guys, there's like things that we can do because a lot of black men, especially, we're getting older and we're having, you're starting to go into that range where your prostate becomes vital and important. And as egotistical as we can be, we gotta shut down that ego. We gotta let Kylie come and chop your head off and get rid of the ego. And Mystic Mama gonna talk to us about how we can make our prostate shrink so that you can have that vitality back into your life. And there are different methodologies that she's going to talk to you about it, because you don't want to be 60 having to take a blue pill. Some of y'all 40 taking a blue pill. Some of y'all 30 and 20 taking a blue pill. But you don't have to take a blue pill, some chemical to induce your blood flow like that. Mystic Mama gonna tighten that up. So she's gonna tighten the latest, tighten, get it right. And then we're gonna also talk about just the whole deal, because when you have good womb health, you have good penile health and prostate health, and you're not passing junk between each other, then as you move forward in your relationship, you have a better mind, you have a better energy, and you have a better relationship, better life. Plus, if you're looking at getting pregnant, the damage that is in the womb is the damage you pass on to your child. So that in itself is important enough. So it's going to be 9 o'clock on time next week, every Tuesday. Every Tuesday this is the show, but 9 o'clock on time, because we were 15 minutes late today, but 9 o'clock next Tuesday, we're going to have Zaire Sab from Mystic Mama. Her website is mysticmamaherbals.com. Come to that. Go check out her website before the show. You know, hell, you might want to order some stuff before the show because she ships. But yeah, so we're gonna have that show. We're gonna talk about this thing, and you know, like I said, ladies,
get it tight, get it right.
She the womb goddess. The womb goddess. So I look forward to it. This is your Coach Renz. This is
Yeah.
This is Issa.
And y'all have a great night. Remember, you gotta free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. And now we're gonna shut down all these things. Y'all have a good one.
Nice.